As the sun drops below the horizon, the palace is illuminated with gold. The geometry of the structure is perfect. Its towers seem to stretch to the stars. Beyond them, I spy treetops swaying in the balmy evening breeze. Drinking in the sight, my gaze trails down the alabaster bridge to the swirling waters below. There's something down there, corkscrewing through the muck. It glows like some kind of bloodless ghost. Its body is long and rippling, ribbon-like. Something catch your eye? Escorting me is Portia, the Countess's servant. Thankfully, she arrived at the gates just after I did. Had she not appeared, I would be alone as I faced the looming palace. She leans over me and her eyes light up when she spots the creature in the water below. Do you like animals? I love animals. Oh, you do? How nice! You'll definitely enjoy your stay here. The palace is home to all kinds of exotic pets. But you don't want to get too friendly with that one. It's a vampire eel, imported from faraway swamps. No eyes or ears, but they're still pretty graceful, don't you think? Unless you splash around a lot, they won't even bother you. But you wouldn't want to catch a bite. If they bite, they don't stop drinking until the body is dry. I nod, peering down at the creature as it spirals into the billowing silt. Portia pats my shoulder, ushering me along. She occupies me with conversation all the way down the bridge. As we approach the intricate doors, I find myself growing nervous. Uncertainties start to rise like bubbles coming to a ball within me. Is this wise? What awaits me in this fortress so far from home? If I walk through those doors, will I ever walk out again? Too soon, we're standing before them, and Portia turns to me with a winsome smile. We have arrived! She swings her fist against the copper plating. 3 skull-rattling strikes. As the last echoes fade, the pendulous doors swing inward, and I'm swept inside, wondering if I will ever return. Inside is a different world. Everything is gleaming. The floors, the walls, and the steep ceilings are all clean-cut polished stone. Lining the hall on either side are many servants standing at attention in brilliant uniform. Welcome, 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 welcome. My eyes flick left and right uneasily as I am welcomed from all angles. When we reach the end of the line, one servant slips away from the rest to join us. Barely 4 feet tall, a sumptuous blue feather stands proudly from their velvet cap. With a deep bow, they pass me and dash to Portia's side. How are we doing? On time?
Impeccable timing. The first course will be served shortly. Her ladyship has yet to descend.
Portia heaves a sigh of relief and hands her fruit basket off to the bright-eyed servant. Perfect! Run and tell the kitchen that our guest has arrived.
Yes, right away.
With a curtsy, the servant slips away, disappearing behind a panel in the wall which slides seamlessly shut. Well, it looks like we'll be arriving right on time. Her ladyship will be joining us soon. I'll show you to the dining room.
Dining? As in me dining with the Countess?
What? Don't tell me you thought we wouldn't feed you. Portia giggles, patting me on the shoulder in sympathy. Don't be shy. You're the guest of honor. Her words leave my stomach fluttering with everything but hunger. I followed her purposeful stride, our footsteps echoing down the cavernous hall. Soon we're standing before a fine mahogany door, and Portia turns to me. We'll go in together, okay? I feel myself nod, and she opens the door leading me inside. I step into the dining room. Rich scents fill my lungs, unfamiliar and tantalizing. A quintet dressed in gauzy evening gowns are playing a pleasant, ambling melody. Before me is a long table laid heavy with platters of the most careful delicacy. Portia pulls out a chair for me and I sink into the plush seat. Now that the food is right in front of me, my hunger returns tenfold, but the countess has yet to arrive. I tear my gaze away from the table and notice a strange painting on the wall across from me. The scene is that of a meal shared among a host of figures with the heads of beasts. The table is laid with small animals provided by a central character with the head of a goat. Rays of gold glitter around its head, and its red eyes are strikingly lifelike.
I see you're admiring the painting.
My head whips towards the head of the table, source of the sonorous voice. Countess Nadia is taking her seat, as graceful as I remember from this morning. At the sight of me, her lips curve into a placid smile.
Do you like it, Candice? The painting?
Yes. She drums her elegant fingers along her cheekbone, watching me with idle interest.
Oh, you have peculiar taste. I cannot say I care much for it. So, why does it remain on the wall? Where I must look at it always, you might ask. A servant appears at my side to place a bowl of yogurt and cucumber soup before me. I bring it to my mouth immediately and drink. Sentimental value, I suppose. It was one of my husband's favorites.
The Countess's husband. I'm surprised at the mention of him. Count Lucia. As his name takes form in my mind, the image of the goat figure before me becomes somehow familiar. Suddenly, its red eyes are so vivid as I can almost feel them returning my gaze. Beautiful red. The words fall from my mouth unbidden. Ah, yes, it is a beautiful red. But more to the point, you have a spoon. I recommend using it. Sheepishly, I obey. Amusement shimmers in her brilliant eyes.
As I was saying, the goat-headed one in the middle is him, or so it is supposed to be. Providing for the people as he saw himself, he certainly knew how to entertain. Festivities at the palace were exhaustive. He loved to spoil his guests.
My empty bowl is whisked away. In its place is a disc of flaky golden savories. The Countess watches me devour them with morbid curiosity. Tell me, Candice, did you ever attend our masquerade? I blink, mouth full. I would imagine so. Our doors were open to all. Well, up to a certain capacity. I chew my pastry slowly, uncertain of how to answer. The masquerade was a festival held each year in celebration of the Count's birthday. For the Countess to bring him up yet again is unexpected, but I realize now it probably has something to do with the reason she called me here.
I know it is a difficult matter to discuss. I know how fondly the people of this city remember the masquerade, and of course how deeply affected we all were by the murder.
I nearly choke. Mercifully, I catch myself. My pulse quickens nonetheless.
Such a terrible shock to the guests, such a vicious injustice upon this house. To slaughter the host while he celebrates his birthday, sharing his joy and prosperity with open doors. A hateful crime indeed. Ah, thank you.
As our entrees arrive, the Countess falls silent. I turn my attention to the plate before me, a fragrant lamb dish in complicated sauce. All that I know of the murder of the Count Lucia is through rumor and whispers. This story is full of holes, more questions than answers, but the end is the same. The Count retired to his chambers, and by midnight, he and his chamber both were engulfed in flames. The culprit was captured on the spot, or surrendered. The details vary. But before he could be brought to justice, the murderer escaped. Ever since that day, the palace has been locked away from all who would seek to enter.
You may wonder why I'm telling you all this, why I called you here.
The Countess speaks with gravity. At once, she has all the room at attention.
Well, I have been planning this for some time. This year, we will hold the masquerade once more. The gates will again open, and the festivities in Lucia's honor will be more fanatical than ever. Fantastical, excuse me.
She dabs the corner of her mouth. All around the room, palpable shock bears down on the silence. Only Portia appears unbothered by the news.
As I said, I have planned out the necessary details already. There is but one loose end in need of tying. The murderer, to this day, he roams free. Too long he has evaded me. So long as he stalks the shadows of the city, I cannot guarantee the safety of my guests. I must find him, and I must bring him to justice before the people of this city. Surely you know the murderer of whom I speak. Dr. Julian Devorak, my husband's trusted physician.
There's a terrible crash. All eyes land on Portia, whose face is stricken with horror. At her feet, the broken remnants of her dessert are seeping into the floor.
Portia?
Forgive me, milady. Slippery hands.
You are forgiven.
Two servants rushed to her aid, sweeping away the shattered porcelain with wind sprint speed.
Anyway, this is where you come in, Candice.
The fugitive has proved very elusive. The palace guard is helpless in rooting him out. But while they continue to disappoint me, you come highly recommended. Your master is known far and wide. Rumor has it that you have surpassed him already. I may not be fond of magicians, but I do not deny the practical uses of magic. I myself see the future whether I like it or not. And this is how I know that you are the one who will find him for me. That fraudulent doctor who betrayed us and murdered my husband. This is why I've called you here, Candice. If anyone can help me find him, it is you. And if we find him? The Countess sets down her glass.
When we find him, we will bring him before the people, so that all may see his long-awaited punishment. Whether he begs for his life or hangs his head in defeat, the people delight in his suffering. A spectacle of vengeance, the mob will love it. And so to commence the festivities, the doctor will die on the gallows. Well, if all goes according to plan. The Countess rises. On instinct, I rise as well. Portia? Portia?
Yes, milady?
Show Candice to the guest quarters. I imagine there's much to ponder before the night is out.
Right away, milady. Portia pulls me to my feet, and with a humble bow, whisks me to the doorway.
I'm interested to see more of this magic of yours, Candice, and I look forward to our partnership.
Autonomously, I bow. The Countess looks pleased. Portia hurries me out the door.